Ryan, and we'll move down to Brandon. Let's talk about the gear that you use. That's going to be important to all of us. Our fans want to know it, so let's talk specifically about rod, reel, line, and lure. Starting with you.
Okay. So this week it was actually really simple on gear for me. It was a finesse deal. Shaky head was my main deal. It's an unnamed. I had two. I had a jaw dropper shaky head from First Gen Fishing, and I had an unnamed shaky head as well for the weedless approach. Missile baits, mini magic worm was my #1 bait. Green pumpkin, anything pretty much. I would just throw that on Fitzgerald shaky head rod, Fitzgerald stunner reel, 3,000, 12-pound P-line fluorocarbon to a 10-pound main braid from P-line. Bait fuel was a big deal. Just felt like I really had to leave it sit for the fish to bite. It was such a slow approach, a finesse approach, but I would let it sit. And the other deal was I was using the Floatzilla capsules to have my tail float up. It was a big deal there. So it would get in there, and then eventually the tail would float up, and sometimes I'd get a bite doing that. But it was a simple, as far as gear, I was probably the most simple guy up here.
Fantastic. All right, Scott.
Yeah, I used, I power fished the whole time. I never caught a fish over about 4 foot deep. Probably caught them all in less than 3, but caught a few fish on the little balsa crankbaits, and then the rest of them all came on a 1/2 ounce dirty jig, green pumpkin, Matt Herring flipping jig. Started the week out with a pocket chunk on it, and it seemed like the fish just got to where they wanted zero action, and I had to change up trailers on it some, but everything. And then I caught some fish on the Nichols 1/2 ounce tandem Indiana spinnerbait. Caught some big ones on that, and I caught a few fish on a chatterbait. I would fill my limit with a chatterbait, and it was a white. And I had a net bait, little spanky on the back of the chatterbait and the spinnerbait to get the bites, and everything I used was soaked in bait fuel 100%. Used Halo rods, Ardent reels, Ardent Apex Grand reels, 7-3-1 on everything. Used my Signature Series rods from Ardent, used Titanium Series, and just about everything I had either had 1,700% fluorocarbon or 20-pound test, 100% fluorocarbon from P-line. So it was pretty simple for me. I kept it shallow, fished the way I like to fish, and just like I was at home. Caught them on wood or docks, and caught a few fish on rock, but everything was super shallow.
All right, Drew, details.
So I started on smallmouth each morning, and I dropped a Dirty Jigs 3/8 ounce guppy head with a Big Bite Sensation Slim Minnow on there. I was using Lawrence Action Target to target smallmouth in the canal, and I was hoping to get 2 or 3 bites a day. Doing that, I was only able to catch 1 smallmouth each day to weigh in, which helped my day, because then I would go largemouth fishing. And largemouth fishing, I spent similar to what Scott said, just fishing laydowns, any kind of wood cover. Had to have a little bit of watercolor, so I was throwing spinnerbait and a Bagley crankbait a lot. The spinnerbait I was throwing was a Nichols Pulsator, 1/2 ounce single Colorado with a gold blade and chartreuse and white, and I put a white Big Bite Pro Swimmer on the back, and 20-pound Seaguar and BizX with a Phoenix M1 rod, 7-2 heavy. And the crankbait I was throwing was a Pro Sunny B by Bagley. It's called Cook and Crawl. It's like a red crawl with orange belly. And then I also flipped my DB Finesse jig by Nichols and a crawfish color with a quarantine crawl in the back of the trailer. But all those, except for the crankbait, were on 20. The crankbait was on 15-pound Seaguar and BizX. And the line I used, smallmouth fishing, I used Smackdown braid to an 8-pound Tatsu leader, dropping those. And I used a 7-1 medium feather Phoenix rod, fishing those. So it's pretty simple. That four rod combo is pretty much everything that I caught fishing.
All right, fantastic. All right, yeah, you can use that as a microphone. Yeah, sure. All right, John, what you got?
All right, I wasn't nervous until now. This is more nerve-wracking than any of the tournament so far. But
All week I pretty much kept it simple. I threw a Berkeley Fritz side the entire time. I tried some other stuff but didn't really catch anything on it, and so I just kind of kept it in my hands, covered a lot of water, kind of fished them the same places as last time we were here, and I had it on my signature series, Pro Series cranking rod that I have by Boo Garcia. It's like a 7.6 medium heavy. I had a winch reel with a 5:4 to 1 reel ratio, and I actually swapped to a 6/8 to 1 to speed it up a little bit because they weren't really reacting to it that well. And I had it on 15-pound 100% trialing 100% fluorocarbon, and that was about it.
Fantastic. All right, Brandon.
Two different deals for me. My main deal was going way back as far as I could get back in these drains that actually had a run-in back in the back of them. The ones that have run-ins in the back of them, the bait gets back here in the back, and I was targeting those with quarter-ounce lipless crankbait. I threw a couple different ones. Main one was a live target. It's a live target golden shiner, but it looks just like a shad because that's what those fish were eating, obviously. And I threw a striking red-eye shad a little bit. I did alternate between a chrome one and a red one. Most of my fish today and day one came on the chrome one. The second day, for whatever reason, they liked the red one. I think it was because the water got a little dirtier. Also had a little bit different deal going. I was fishing Main River bluffs with a 1/2 ounce. I was flipping the same jig as Scott, 1/2 ounce Matt Herron, dirty jigs, flipping jig. I was flipping a brown one. I had a green pumpkin, just a chunk style trailer on it. And I was flipping Main Lake bluffs with that. That's the same thing I did in the Classic here in 2019. You don't get many bites doing that, but it's a good way to catch some big ones. I did it a lot of the day today, and it just did not work. But I threw my Mustad Signature Series rods on the jig. I threw the 7.6 heavy. On the trap, I threw the 6'10" medium. The trap, I threw 12-pound Vicious 100% fluorocarbon. On the jig, I threw 20-pound Vicious crystal clear fluorocarbon. That's pretty much it.
All right, perfect. All right. And this year,